This is a very special edition that goes out to Brian from Jason. I guess you guys have a podcast called 48 Minutes of Dogs Barking. I hope that's a joke of a title and that the podcast actually is 48 minutes of movie information for buffs, because people are going to enjoy that a lot more than dogs barking. And of course, movie information is in scarce supply, especially accurate information and expert information like we provide here on our cinema. We have a custom recommendation for you guys, for you to enjoy during the holiday season coming up. It's actually from 1933, and it's called Footlight Parade, starring James Cagney, the original gangster, and Joan Blondell. This movie has some elements of music, drama, comedy, and even a little bit of action. Not really, though. It's 104 minutes, which is a very good running time for 1934. And I think you guys are really going to enjoy this one. I'd recommend you watch it on Christmas Day. Maybe with Footloose as a double feature, so two foot-related movies. And pop up some popcorn, because this is not the type of movie you want to watch without a bucket of popcorn in your lap. Congratulations, guys.
48 minutes of dogs barking, 48 minutes of dogs barking, 48 minutes of dogs barking, 48 minutes of dogs barking. Growl! Growl! 48 minutes of dogs barking, 48 minutes of dogs barking.
I've seen this on the small screen here, and I'm like,
that can't be.
Is this a video of someone who's sick? And I'm like, no, it's Gregg Turkington. It's TV's Neil Hamburger, everyone.
TV's
It's Gregg Turkington.
That was as much a gift for me as it was for you.
That's amazing. It's amazing. Just at the end, you can see him trying not to lose his shit. One of the things that's really great about Gregg is that they have just an amazing way of filling space.
Yeah.
Like it's such
They can just ramble.
It's such a skill. And you gotta wonder how much you shut your brain off for that. Like it's like you turn everything off except for the bathroom light, and you close the door.
Yeah, you're autopiloting on this movie
amazing.
expertise.
But just
Andy Kaufman.
Yeah, Andy Kaufman. It's very surreal. I always think about the Trent Reznor tweet when he was talking about the Chris Cornell solo record, which was, you ever felt embarrassed for someone else?
Someone else. Yes.
Maybe
yes.
one of the greatest tweets of the early days of Twitter.
Entirely possible, yeah.
But Neil Hamburger is amazing. He was here not too long ago, and at Red Flag, and I'm a little bummed I missed it. But Gregg Turkington, he's really great in the comedy, and
oh god, yeah.
And
wow.
what's the Neil Hamburger movie?
The Entertainer.
The Entertainer,
yeah.
Which is another fantastic, kind of hard to watch movie, but I feel like these movies drag you through the gravel parking lot on your dick to show you. I would say in each movie has about 10 or 15 minutes of just pure, just like insightful, cutting to the soul of the human experience, or wherever these characters are, their patheticness, or like their untapped potential, their sorrow, in a way that that's masterful. But man, you really gotta drag your dick through the gravel parking lot.
You really do.
and I think it's one of those, I was like talking with my girlfriend yesterday. I forget specifically about what, but like part of what made that so great was the suffering, because if you just got what you wanted, it just was. Oh, jeez, she's gonna laugh about this, but it was the Hickory Farms like gift packs. We had go to West County Mall, because that's the only place we knew off the top of our head, because we had been there for trying to find the Guitar World magazine, seeing if I had my photo in it.
Oh yeah.
And apparently Guitar Center doesn't carry Guitar World magazine anymore,
which is bizarre.
Absolutely fucking insane. Weird. But so we had to go there, 2 weeks before Christmas. Or a week before Christmas.
Oh boy, yeah.
And boy, that was exhausting. But we got her the Hickory Farms package that she wanted, their shelf-stable cheese.
Hell yeah.
We're at the grocery store yesterday grabbing something, and she's like, "Oh, there's the Hickory Farm shit here." God damn it,
yeah.
But I was like, yeah. Part of what made that so great was that we had to go through mall hell.
Yeah.
To get your Hickory Farms, and that just makes it taste so much better. And the shelf-stable cheese so much more shelf-stable.
Without suffering, there is no enlightenment.
If life is short, life is shit, then you die, it's over. The quote, Brain Candy, the amazing film.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Boy, we're just going on one today.
That's all right. It's a 40 minutes dogs barking, by the way, if you didn't catch that from the Gregg Turkington intro. Welcome to the show. My name's Jason. This is Brian.
Hold on. I said hi.
Hold up. I thought you said hold up, and it fucked it. I went,
yeah, hold
okay,
up.
hold up for what? I went on high.
Turn down for what?
Yeah, I went on high alert. Okay, now, what?
I got brain worms.
Well, you're not the only one.
You commented, Jason, when I came in this evening, that I got some
Yes.
new drip.
Yes. I saw the hat at very least.
What's the hat I'm wearing?
A class war veteran. Gotta love it.
Not birthday, but a Christmas gift from my lovely girlfriend, and she had kind of spoiled it to me because the person who had the Etsy shop like closed up, and she's like, "Oh, I don't know if we're gonna get it." And I got my money refunded, and then it showed up like the other day.
Oh snap! Nice.
And so I'm like, I got a free hat for everyone except for the person who made it. The hat was not free.
Yeah, I was gonna say
this little hydro flask and a beautiful.
Oh, that's new, isn't it? Yeah.
Sage green, but they call it agave. Which
I
apparently
get it.
sage green is becoming my new color because that's the color of the Dutch oven that I bought and some other things in my kitchen. But
a Crusette? Did you go Crusette for the Dutch oven?
Cuisinart.
Hell yeah.
Cuisinart or whatever the fucking.
No, that's Cuisinart.
Cuisinart. I don't fucking
La
know,
Crusette is the super fancy.
Oh no, I went with Lodge.
Oh,
I got my
it's
mom
not
a Le
bad.
Creuset.
Yeah.
And she loves it. But the Lodge is like it was like $70. I'm like, that seems about why I want.
That's about right. La Crusette is like, fuck, if I put anything too weird in this, I'm gonna regret it.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, don't buy me anything fancy. I've told my wife, like, yeah, I could use some new pots and pans, but don't fucking buy me, Hexclad. Don't buy me.
Hexclad stuff. Dude, you can do whatever on a fucking. I have a Hexclad spatula.
Okay.
Or skillet, I should say. And you just fucking do whatever. The one thing is stuff will adhere if you burn it accidentally. Like I've accidentally burned eggs a little. I got fucking distracted. I'm like, fuck. But you just gotta get the steel wool out there and some hot soapy water, and you're fine.
That's not too
It
bad.
might take a couple tries, but like it's not gonna hurt the food or anything. It's just more of a aesthetic thing.
Because I've got some pans where the nonstick is pretty much gone. Yeah, it's not great. Yeah, it's probably wound up in food that I've eaten. So yeah,
I mean, well, when you have bile duct cancer in 20 years. And the doctor
next
week,
week,
gets out like a hunting pistol. It just has a single round. It says this is the best treatment. And you say, why are you holding my hands down?
Yeah. Tell me about the rabbits, George.
And then the last thing here, these very nice boots here, some very nice Birkenstock boots that my girlfriend's mother, Kim.
Now, it is the Birkenstock version of what I think of as a Doc Marten because it's got the rubber sole. Yeah,
it's got the cork sole. Man, these are comfortable.
Cork. Oh, great.
Yeah, they're beautiful. I feel like I'm really in my Bela Lugosi's dead phase.
Hell yeah!
About to drive all night to a Waffle House and smoke cigarettes.
Cloves.
Yeah. Smoke some cloves and read Lovecraft.
Yes.
I'm really feeling myself in these.
The vibes are immaculate. I will give you that.
Thank you. And so now we get to the gift
exchange,
which feels like an MST3K.
I know.
The invention exchange.
It kind of is. All right, so.
It's a fucking machine that has a hatchet on it. All right. So I employ a technique I call lo-fi gift giving.
I like it.
Which is I just throw some shit in the box and I'll write like "gay baby" on it and like that's your gift.
You know what? I love it. All right. Ooh, Melinda's. Let's see. Box in a box. Love that. Melinda's Craft Pepper Sauces and Condiments. The tagline: "Set your mouth on flavor."
Yeah.
Set your mouth on flavor.
Yeah. It's not the most encouraging tagline. Today has made a promise to tomorrow.
Yeah. Set your mouth to stun. Like
I've messed around with a couple of their hot sauces before, and I've found that they're pretty good.
Well, I remember last year you got
the Queen Majesty stuff. I mean, the Queen Majesty stuff's fantastic, but like if you go buy a bottle of that, it's like $15.
Right? Yeah.
And I almost feel bad to use it, but this stuff's a little bit more economical. It's fucking delicious. So
Quadruple X Reserve Habanero. You know me. I love the habanero. Gotta have it. You got a garlic one, obviously. Loving that. Probably going to put that on a pizza tomorrow. Extra habanero, extra hot. Oh, yeah. And Mango.
The
all
mango
right.
is deceptively delicious.
And a ghost. Everybody's got to have the boot. The boot. Jolokia. I always fuck that up. Boot, I remember, but
But
the
yes,
rest of
you know, if you ruin a pair of boxers, this is why.
it's all your fault.
Jeez. Okay, so I've got
All
my
right,
Spider-Man.
a tube. He's got a tube wrapped
I've
in
got
all the
wrapped,
Spider-Man.
folks. Hey, dude, you want to check out my tube?
Yeah,
I
actually,
used to know this guy named Casey, and you would call him up, and you'd be like, "Hey, man, we're going to this party over in Florissant. You wanna go? I don't know, man. I got this new shampoo I want to check out."
he's opening up the tube for me, ladies and gentlemen. This is a
Opening up the
podcast
tube.
first. a variety of Achewood stickers, starting with Roast Beef Uncle's Restaurant.
Being in trouble is a fake idea.
Yes.
Fuck yeah.
Oh wait, one of my favorites is you just tip those out there. Yeah.
The dude has got
The
no
dude
mercy.
has got no mercy.
I'm the guy who sucks. Plus, I got depression. These are all
Perfect
like half
for your
these are gonna
car.
Go on my fucking.
I was
water
gonna
bottle.
say.
I'm the guy who sucks. Plus, I got depression. Yes, yes, yes.
I knew it. I knew this.
Sucking dick bought this van.
Yes. That's the whole reason I got it. Was a pack of stickers.
Yeah.
And the second I saw that Sucking Dick Bought This Van was in there, I was like, yep, that's it.
That's it.
I don't care what the other ones say.
Guys, do you think Todd can read? Still. Stone Lightning. You got the classic
Yes.
beef on the rocket ship.
Yep.
Classic
Yep.
drawing. Man, awesome.
Yeah.
I imagine there's more in here.
There
It
is
feels
one
like
more
there's
thing in there. Yeah. Now this, I wasn't sure which one of these to get, so I kind of went with my gut here.
Oh,
This
shit.
is what is that, Brian?
The Great Outdoor Fight.
Yes. If you're an Achewood reader, if you haven't read Achewood, The Great Outdoor Fight is a great place to start. This here is a poster for one of the older Great Outdoor Fights.
The Great Outdoor Fight. The Ultimate Test of Man.
Mm-hmm.
Featuring locked-in winner Dwayne Alpatier versus the long shot from Lompoc, Boy Holding Fig.
I was like, yeah.
With a Midnight Holler by Colin Wakestay and the Fever Factory.
Yep.
Last Supper, Wheeler's Patch and Harness, 211 Old Derby, Caliente, California, February 13th. This is amazing. Yeah, this is Monday, February 14th, 1983.
1983.
God, the Chris Onstad just has a great way of giving people fantastic names that you never leave out of your...
Boy with a Fig.
Boy with Fig.
Yeah, you'll never...
Because that's also... Because the original run, this also gives you the Latino health crisis is one of the participants. Amazing. I'm going to get this framed.
I was going to say, that was the only thing missing, and I'm like, you know what? I'll leave that up to him. I'll leave that up to him to frame it.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas, bro.
Merry Christmas, man.
So, as we are doing a Christmas-themed episode...
We went to a mall Santa, and we asked him if he had any H.
And he said 30 for...
Meet me in the bathroom.
Right.
I'll bend the spoon if you've got the light there, Rudolph.
30 for 15, and I said, fuck you, old man. Anyway.
Fuck you, old man. My cousin said you were cool.
Right. Are you going to stiff me on this? Well, as it is a very special Christmas episode, I figured that we're going to do a couple of end-of-the-year specials, but we're going to kick off this particular episode with the worst tweets of the year. Jeremiah Johnston, the Twitter user here, giving us two options for the worst tweet of the year. Number one, gentleman who goes by the name Blood Mustard. I've always felt it weird that as an audience we're exposed to intimate moments the characters haven't consented to sharing, making the viewer an accidental voyeur at best, leaving us guilty of some form of sexual crime, I'm not sure which exactly, at worst. Now, he's referring to sex scenes in movies, which has been, again...
one of the most tiresome discourses of the
awful.
last
I hate it.
18 or so months.
The response for someone named Rick, and then in parentheses, allegedly, my friend, you should not read books either. You're experiencing the whole life of characters who didn't consent. Blood Mustard responding, I don't.
I hate a lot of things about this. One of the things that really pisses me off is that Mr. Blood Mustard here, Castilian NES.
Yeah.
Their avatar is the cover of one of the most underrated Sega Genesis games, and maybe one of the weirdest games Electronic Arts ever published that wasn't like Mutant League Football or something.
Okay.
Poltergeist.
I don't even remember that.
Oh,
one. I guess I wasn't a Genesis guy, so yeah, Poltergeist.
So
All right.
one of the many cruel things that happened in my childhood is that my mom made sure that throughout grade school I had a subscription to Nintendo Power, but I did not have a Super Nintendo.
Ooh.
I had a Genesis.
Ooh, because you get to see all those cool comics and then not be able to play the game
Yeah,
they're
I got to
based
read
on.
all the Nestor stuff, but like,
oh, that's rough.
the Sega Genesis had weird games that didn't necessarily would have not necessarily flown through
Booger
Nintendo.
Man, the pick and flick
I
adventure.
think Booger Man was on Super Nintendo.
It did eventually get ported over, yeah.
But it's just like, man, a classic niche game that's really weird and vulgar and violent in a way that a lot of console games in the 90s weren't. And
Right.
you use this, my son, to make shit tweets.
Yeah, feels wrong, doesn't
It
it?
feels very wrong. It's like petting a cat the wrong way, but with my eyes.
Ugh. Well, the other option for worst tweet of the year, Aaron Gross. Did the Nazis do anything to their victims that was as horrific as to what was done on October 7th? That's an honest question. I don't know Holocaust history.
October 7th seems more savage and sadistic than the Nazis, more like ISIS or the Comanches.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's a bad
That's
one.
rough. My head hurts.
Yeah.
I'm getting dizzy. Do you have smelling salts?
I'm smelling burnt toast.
Yeah.
But
Stick my head in the oven and push me in.
just no note. Just
Yeah, that's like they're both bad, but I think this one is.
I gotta give it to the did the Nazis ever do anything bad guy?
I spent most of social studies class writing names like Gay Dude and the person who who had this book page.
Uh-huh.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Like,
This used to belong to so and so. Yeah.
Yeah, this is who had it in 94. This is who had it in 95. But in 97, Pussy Fart McDude Ranch.
Oh, great!
I
love his work.
Have you ever
Have you ever read Pussy Fart McDude?
Pussy Fart McDude Ranch?
Yeah, he was one of my favorite guys at McSweeney's. Dig on McSweeney's out of nowhere. I don't know, but
Man, this is amazing. So I would say this is pretty rough because I feel like the Nazis did pretty terrible things consistently. I think pretty much everything from when Hitler took power from the other guy of the Nazi party.
Yeah.
Like all pretty much, I mean, it was pretty bad beforehand, but it didn't get like teeth, as it were. Like before, it was just a bunch of fucking white supremacists like street fighting and getting drunk and having weird feelings about blood purity.
Yeah.
But really, it really wasn't until Adolf got involved that things started really swinging, it feels like. So I feel like the whole Third Reich thing, it was all pretty bad. I don't think there was like a good part, like the Autobahn. Like I sure there's a pretty bad part of the Autobahn. I just don't know about.
You don't know Autobahn history, much like this guy says he doesn't know Holocaust history.
Actually,
it was a Holocaust. What is there to know? What the fuck? I don't know Holocaust history. Well, you don't have to know every single thing that happened to know that it was bad, you asshole.
I feel like this had to have been engagement farming.
Has to have been. Has to have been. There is no way there's a person on this fucking earth that is that ignorant. Or conversely, he's denying that the Holocaust was even a thing. So there's that. Extremely stupid or willfully saying, Holocaust didn't happen. Either way, really bad.
Really bad.
Really bad. Ugh. So worst tweet of the year, buddy. Which one are you going to go with?
I'm going to have to say did the Nazis.
I'm going to go with the did the Nazis, yeah.
The blood mustard here is definitely should log off Tumblr.
Yeah.
And Twitter. Doesn't erase the death of 3 million people.
Yeah, and by overwhelming margins here, did the Nazis got 56.7% of the vote on the survey here, which was the worst tweet, and I would agree with that.
I wonder how Blood Mustard feels about like fish tanks.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's just
like we're watching them and
we're
they don't
watching
know.
them.
They can't consent to this. Yeah, well, cats can't consent to getting neutered either. What the fuck are you talking about? My head hurts just thinking about that
Well, we got
that
some
guy.
news that's not going to make our head hurt.
No, this one actually made me laugh very, very hard. It's friend of the program, Danny Wisentowski. Those of you who know St. Louis Public Radio may know the voice or the face even. And his idea was that the next Grand Theft Auto game should take place in St. Louis.
Create a character starts by selecting Missouri or Illinois and day of temp tag.
Which is such an underrated detail, yeah. And then, but he continues. It's a whole thread. Let me pull this there. Side quests include delivering emos, stealing Kias, doing odd jobs for the Arch's weather control room, cave exploration, golf cart racing around Soulard, infiltrating the Veiled Prophet, river diving for sunken McDonald's treasures, and cornhole. Further things you could do in his hypothetical GTA St. Louis: run for local office. Whether you're alderman or sheriff or recorder of deeds, the shenanigans are endless. Reach level 20 to open the city-county merger side quests available through DLC, and then in parentheses, the DLC is never coming out. What's the next one? This is
Main quest.
Yeah,
The bankrupt St. Louis plans a World's Fair as one last mega project to solve every problem at once. Work your way up from toasted rap vendor, assemble a gang, build a trolley, turn churches into skate parks, legally ban cornhole, and run the Cardinals into the ground.
He does give credit to Jason Coggins on Facebook. The Cursed AI page there had come up with the original GTA East St. Louis. Some of the replies here are just too great. Looks too intact for the east side. If GTA ever comes to the Midwest, it's going to be Chicago. But I can definitely see a St. Louis-based city being on the south end of the map, and then Minneapolis to the north, Detroit to the east, all in one big map. Which,
yeah, maybe Milwaukee.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Throw Milwaukee.
I don't hate it.
And then, of course, we all know who the boss is going to be, and it's the McCulloughs. The lawyers who sit outside their house with the,
Very underrated. And he's a funny guy.
A pro follow on Twitter and whatever else.
Pro follow for friendship. I feel like you also you pick your temp tag and where you went to high school.
Yeah, that's one that I think he skimped on.
Yeah,
where he went to high school definitely.
If
changes.
you went to CBC or Ladue, you start at level 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just like we could just riff like really mean jokes.
No, I was trying not to take the bait because I went to CBC and like it was a whole thing because I was like one of 3 guys from North County to go there.
Some of the biggest chip on shoulder guys I met as a teenager were like the one like North County guy that went to like
a fancy
Vianney or any of the really expensive day school.
Yeah, because you got a lot to prove.
Yeah, because you're like going with like, your dad's a judge.
Yeah.
My dad steals mufflers.
Right.
Like
my mom's a travel agent. What do you mean?
Yeah. My grandfather was the guy that invented sitting around. It's too high out. What if I just did nothing? What if I had myself, an ice cold sarsaparilla?
Exactly.
Or switchel?
Uh-huh. Switchel. I still can't get over the fact I didn't know what that was until you explained it to me. Switchel
it's like what if lemonade was Mormon? Like what if lemonade tasted like a jean skirt?
Yeah. I mean, I already don't like lemonade, so like, what if lemonade but worse doesn't really sell it to me?
It's a hard day out there. I need a little bit of switchel.
The way that came up is when we had Stryker Spurlock in the
started
studio.
making demands like, I need this.
I was saying I'm going to the store. Do you guys need anything? And he goes, oh yeah, I'm gonna need a couple of Starbucks drinks. And I was like, okay, cool. Which one do you want? And he was like, no, I'm just kidding. Because he immediately went, and then he said, well, a cherry Coke. And then Brian responds, yeah, give me a switchel. And I'm like, where do they sell that? What is that? I had no idea. This was completely new to me. So
you can get it at the fancy grocery stores.
You can?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it looks like shit. It literally looks like wire. It's funny that you can go to like a grocery store in like Ladue or Frontenac,
right?
And you can spend $3 or $4 to get a bottle of something that looks like wire from Coldwater Creek.
Ooh. Yeah.
It's got a real coppery color to it.
See, that's
and oddly translucent in a way that does not bode well for one's faith in mankind.
Ooh, that just makes me think of kombucha. That's all
I
kombucha
love
looks like to
kombucha.
me. But that's what it looks like to me when I see it. I'm like, this is just dirty
When I
water.
see kombucha, I'm just like, oh man, that tastes like vinegar and fruit. Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never been impressed by it, but that's just me.
Yeah. You
I'm,
just
I'm just a simple country boy with the.
Well, I'm just a simple country boy. I only drink Dr. Pepper and cream Vess.
Yeah. If I had my druthers, I sure would,
Just
man.
Drink cream. We want to know how stupid.
Pineapple, peach, the orange, the Vest root beer. I mean, they
You
make
want to know
a
how
good
stupid
one.
I am, Jason?
I don't, but I'll humor you. Go on.
It wasn't until like a year or two ago that I realized that cream soda was just like, oh, it's just like a cola with vanilla.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because it sounds like something else. It sounds like it should be some other flavor, but no, it's
literally just a vanilla cola.
Yeah, it's a vanilla Coke. And I think my wife discovered that around the same time. So I was like, oh yeah, there's this Coke Zero vanilla. And she goes, well, this is a cream soda. I said, yeah, that's what, like that's what that is.
I just never liked cream soda as a kid, and I like randomly, I think, just had like a Vest cream soda, like it was like a work function or something. There was like one left over. I'm like, fuck it, you know what? I'm gonna.
And you saw the light.
And I was like, oh wait, this is just like a vanilla cola.
Yeah.
And I said it to a coworker, and they looked at me, and they were like, I thought you were like the smart guy here.
Oh, wow, they really called you out, boy. I'll tell you.
Anyways, we got
Speaking of
ourselves
smart
here,
guys.
we got ourselves here. Gary from Venture Brothers shutting down some annoying religious guy.
I've kind of sourced some stuff from here before, but a pro click on the subreddits there is going to be r/cringe TikToks. Because every once in a while, you'll get something that's not actually cringe, but is actually pretty cool. In this one, a guy whose t-shirt says, my pronouns are fine/Jesus, which fuck you, is doing one of those man on the street bits, right? And he thinks he's got a real gotcha. He thinks he's got him. And he says, LGBTQ rights or financial stability. Well, this gentleman, hirsute as he is, long hair, Bluetooth in his ear, a little bit overweight, leather jacket, the archetype of a forums moderator.
Oh yeah, this guy permabanned me from something awful many times. This is Abraham.
His response is simply no. Here's the clip.
LGBTQ rights or economic stability? Why can't you have both? You need to pick one. I refuse the question. You can't refuse the question. I do. But you can't. But I did. But you need to pick one. No, I don't. I just said you did. So what?
Well, thankfully it ends with them shaking hands and walking away, but yeah, boy.
This guy fucking rules.
Yeah.
What a fucking short king.
Yeah, I love him. I mean, he's even wearing the fucking, I don't even know if they're Birkenstocks.
They gotta be Burks.
I was going to say.
Burks related with jeans. A classic college
yeah,
campus look.
Absolutely.
I just like, he's like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to do that. Like, your question's bad.
I reject your question, he says at some point. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fucking good for him.
Fucking A, man. Yeah, this guy rules. I think this was one of those like, haha, I gotcha. Some weirdo college liberal's gonna completely backfired on this guy. Too bad. There's some, ponytail guy is a serious Chad here. Keep whipping that zipper, King, because he
kind of has like a little nervous fidget.
Yeah. Wow, shaking my damn head. Little does this guy know that the Dow Industrial Average volatility is directly driven by the amount of gay sex that people are having. So Reddit had a field day and Twitter did too. Christy Yamaguchi, Maine, the Waffle House. Boy, we have talked about them quite a bit, haven't we?
Yeah.
But they're saying, been in touch with someone who knows and works with the debate god, which apparently is his new name, and wanted to see if he had any interest in talking on their podcast about the video, and sadly he does not. So the quote here from a text, he actually doesn't want to know anything about his internet fame. He's very
anti-social media.
He's very anti-social media, but he knows the video was posted in the first place and that he came out looking good. Respect on his fucking name, which I don't even know. I don't even know his name. The Waffle House's previous posts, of course, thought he had an early target Didn't realize dude rocking the sandals, jeans, ponytail, solo Bluetooth was born into the shitty internet debate, molded by it. When Mr. TikTok was out partying, he was studying Usenet archives and paying for something awful.
Amazing.
This is a forums mod god from back in the day.
Oh, absolutely. This is someone that like was a volunteer mod on GameFAQs or
NeoGAF. Here, Garbage Ape. The guy truly has it figured out. And then someone's trying to pin him down. Apparently, they're may be located in the Atlanta area. So we Matthew Rideout saying this guy continues to impress as a modern hero. Whack Nicholson, my new white whale. Same here.
Yeah,
kind of want to
Law Dog Esquire. Well,
oh yes.
What about the interviewer would love to really interrogate what this is about?
I mean, I feel like it's the same culture war shit though. Like,
yeah.
That's pretty transparent. Oh, which would you rather have? LGBTQ rights or economic stability? It's a stupid gotcha question.
Yeah, it's really dumb because, why can't we have both? It would be really awesome if we had, like, why can't I have overtime in my bonus?
Yeah. Help me out here, dog. Yeah, like there's no reason, there's no reason you can't do both. Here's Reset Era talking about it. A man that probably had to defend the launch lineup of the PS3.
Absolutely.
He has seen it all. There's a non-zero chance I've read that guy's something awful posts. Yeah, and so they're saying, he might be a Reset Era poster. There's just a very strong forums moderator vibe.
Just the posting power is strong.
Oh my God, yeah.
He's never ironed a shirt.
Oh, no. He's probably never even like walked a printer to a woman's house.
Oh.
Take a hug.
So, speaking of the Borky, when that happened, I used to idle in the Something Awful Goon AIM chat room.
Oh, boy.
There was the regular normal people, and then there was... Fuck, man, I can't remember what the FIAB one was called. It was like called like Bonerville or Boner School or something weird.
Sounds right. Sounds
right. But the main one, there was actually a guy who I guess was a theater kid and did like a teleplay of like Borky like not getting the girlfriend points or whatever from fixing
walking the printer to her house.
Got it on old hard drive. I've got it backed up a couple different places. Maybe if I am bored over the holiday break, I will try and find it. The Borky is probably one of the most infamous early Something Awful stories.
Yes.
And I will not spoil it here. But it involves taking a printer to a girl's house.
Walking it there several miles in the heat. And he is not a healthy, he's not a healthy weight kind of guy. So yeah, big guy. But yeah, he definitely looks like the guy that would. He would walk a printer to someone's house. Eve Fartlow, back again, baby. She cannot stop fucking posting. This one here.
Can I read this one?
Oh, yeah, please.
White girls do know that when the caliphate arrives, it won't matter they wrote free Palestine on a piece of cardboard, right?
Whew.
Yeah, I mean, boy... If the Jews are tired, what about the Gentiles?
Exactly.
Because
someone think of the Gentiles.
Because I am not a part of the tribe.
No, neither am I.
But I'm like, if this is how I feel,
right?
How are my Jewish friends feeling?
I was gonna say, yeah,
because I'm exhausted by knowing that this person exists.
Right. I would not want anything to do with this woman. I mean, look,
we forgot that this is not the only bad tweet that she's had this week. She also had this no longer Generation Z. They're Generation H, Generation Hamas.
Ugh, come the fuck on. Every time I hear that name, every time I see one of her posts, it's just like daggers in my brain.
Color me, maybe I'm a little ignorant on this, but I've never really seen or read anything that implies that Hamas is like radicalized in the same way necessarily.
No.
It seems like they're really, really concerned about not being under apartheid.
Generally, that's kind of the accepted.
Seems to be their main thing.
Yeah.
I have not read everything in their newsletter. I kind of just skim the headlines sometimes and the bullet points about what's hot or not.
I clip the coupons for the for the Hamas
sandwiches.
Hummus. Yeah,
for the hummus and the olive oil. Yeah, it just shut the fuck up.
That's unfortunate because like every time I bring her up, my immediate reaction is, "Shut the fuck up! Shut up!
Fuck up! Fucking go do a puzzle.
Fucking do anything but post.
Yeah.
You don't have to post.
I would tell her go outside, but she might see another free parking sign and have a brain aneurysm.
Oh, just stay in your home. It's fine. You don't have to post. You don't have to post. It's this virulent strain of like American Zionism. It's like being a TERF. It just poisons your brain.
Yeah.
It does something to you to where all you can think about every waking moment is how to be an asshole on the internet.
Yeah.
And it just twists your entire personality. J.K. Rowling went from beloved children's author to there's an entire day dedicated. It just says fuck J.K. Rowling Day. And it's all because she also cannot stop fucking posting.
Cannot stop having this bigotry and weird hatred in their heart.
It's poison.
There's some guys in Hamas that may not like what we do in the Western world. Does that justify 20,000 dead people? Does it justify 10,000 dead children and destruction of half of Gaza? And does all of this that they might not be cool dudes?
Yeah.
Does that remove their sense of humanity and agency and autonomy?
No, the math doesn't work.
That has been taken away from them and their people for almost a better part of a century.
Yeah, systematically over the it's just the math doesn't add up.
Math doesn't add up.
It's just the numbers are all fucked. But it just once again, Eve Fartlow, ladies and gentlemen. There's no person online, with the exception of Elon Musk, that makes me as mad as she does. Like you and I were both saying, we don't have a dog in this race other than, can you not?
Can you not?
Can you fucking
I think we both lived through the Afghanistan and the Iraq War. So we kind of know the playbook. We know like the untold horrors that are being done directly or indirectly, like in our name. Right. And, the United States has given Israel over like $150 billion.
I think we lost count at this point. Yeah.
Of American taxpayers' money. So it hits hard when you just know that I'm just like a dude that makes a weird podcast. Right. Has likes music and photography. And yet somehow my existence and my contribution to taxes is spread out like an octopus to suffering in so many different distant places in the globe, and all I'm doing is getting a paycheck that disappears in a couple days.
Yeah, I think people missed some of this stuff when The Good Place was out, because there's a whole subplot in that show about how everything you do contributes to suffering whether you intend it to or not. Yeah, and that was kind of even though it was in a comedy show about the afterlife, it still was okay.
I think I've met some people that were like, you liked The Good Place? Yeah, I know I'm one of the most cynical people you may know, but I think The Good Place made a lot of good arguments. I think brought a lot of ideas that would not have otherwise been on a major network TV show.
I was gonna say, for a show that starred Ted Danson, you wouldn't think of being
he's fantastic. You totally forget he does blackface.
In front of Whoopi Goldberg, no less. Wasn't that at a roast? Wasn't that
it was a Friars Club roast
of Whoopi, right? Or was just or she was just there?
I just saw the picture. Maybe he just said I'm going to do blackface.
Maybe it was just it's my turn.
So we got this little 16-second video here of a bunch of guys kicking a Cybertruck like they're Beavis.
Yeah, I mean, pink polos and khaki shorts, white tennis shoes. They're all just running up and kicking.
I mean, to be honest, I would also be doing this, but for different reasons.
Right? Yeah, they're trying to be check out how Cybertruck is so cool.
Yeah, look at it's not denting, but partially this also means that if it's in a car accident, it just turns into a giant lead slug.
Dr. Tom here, responding to this, says a lot that the Cybertruck target demographics' primary concerns regarding safety are, quote, hooligans attacking my car in the street and automatic weapon assassination attempts, as opposed to, will I instantly turn into pudding in a high-speed crash?
Or can I open my door? The tweet below here is pretty good as well.
Oh, yeah. Connecting to my Google Glass to my Cybertruck, and my input suddenly turns into Terminator vision as the onboard computer conducts threat analysis of various pedestrians / seeks new targets. He continues, a commando cap wearing SAS team armed with Stens paraglide down to my car, which is impervious to aerial bombing, and break open its doors with thermite and then steal my onboard computer and leave garbage everywhere to prevent it from being used to halt the Normandy invasions. Yeah.
That's Dr. Tom there, new Soviet poster.
Yes. And then the last thing I have for the kind of the internet roundup this week. On Blue Sky, the information pimp reposting this tweet from Bo Duke of Dukes of Hazzard. Yes, John Schneider, ladies and gentlemen. John Schneider posting in response to a Joe Biden tweet, Mr. President, I believe you are guilty of treason and should be publicly hung. Your son, too. Your response is... ellipses, ? Sincerely, John Schneider. First of all, don't sign your posts.
But here's my question, because I'm getting some vibes off of this.
Yeah.
So who does he believe to be president? Because I want, like, if he's saying this is Joe Biden's so he's already lost the script. He's already lost the war.
Yeah.
But because I feel like if I'm going by his mindset, probably Mr. President to him, he still thinks probably Donald Trump's the president. So I mean, I could wholeheartedly agree, perhaps. In Minecraft.
But yeah, the Secret Service apparently are going to be looking into John Schneider. He, of course, deleted it. He did a little dirty delete there. And he made no secret of his belief, this according to Deadline, a Donald Trump critiquing POTUS should be dead. Joe Biden's original tweet that he's responding to is, Trump poses many threats to our country, the right to choose, civil rights, voting rights, and America's standing in the world, but the greatest threat he poses is to our democracy. If we lose that, we lose everything. And then Schneider responded with, seriously, folks, said Schneider to Deadline today in the second of two statements. This is my final comment on this. I neither said nor implied any such thing. Despite headlines claiming otherwise, I absolutely did not call for an act of violence or threaten a U.S. president, as many other celebrities have done in the past. I suggest you reread my actual post and pay attention to the words before believing this nonsense. Okay, I'll read it again. Mr. President, I believe you are guilty of treason and should be publicly hung. Your son, too. Your response is, ellipses, ? Sincerely, John Schneider. I don't know. Pretty fucking cut and dry there, Bo Duke.
Yeah, you know what, though? I mean, I've seen Hunter's penis. I don't think he should be hung. He is hung.
Hey!
My dude's hogged out.
Woo!
Apparently his uncle is too.
Oh, is that right?
So, it stands to reason that Genocide Joe has got himself
packing?
a pretty big hog right there too. Really gristly Irish hog.
Oh, boy. Bo Duke threatening the president. Them Duke boys got themselves into a mess of trouble. How are they going to get out of this one? Because the county impounded their Confederate flag car.
Can't buy it on eBay anymore.
I went to this little Dukes of Hazzard museum. Did I ever tell you about this?
No.
It's called Cooter's Garage. It's in a strip mall in Louisville. Yeah, we went there. It is wall to wall Confederate flags and fucking Dukes of Hazzard merchandise, and it's got the actor who played Cooter. His face is all up on the big sign on the building, and yeah, they got at least 4 or 5 of either reproductions or of the original cars used in the show. It's a fascinating cultural touchstone to go to. It's called Cooter's Garage.
Amazing.
It was also very strange. Like every other piece of merch that you looked around with, there's Confederate flag, Confederate flag, Confederate flag. People didn't seem to mind. It was very empty. There was a lot of really unfortunate, really sexually suggestive Daisy Dukes merchandise, which, okay.
Sure. That was the time.
Yeah. But no, I didn't give a shit about John Schneider.
Maybe he should be publicly hung for not making good TV.
Oh, come on. It was the 70s. That wasn't his fault. He was just following orders, I guess. It's time for the crypto scam of the week, Brian.
You're listening to 48 Minutes of Dogs Barking, the podcast.
And now it's time for the Crypto Scam of the Week.
This piece from the Cointelegraph. Ana Paula Pereira. NFT trader hacked, millions of dollars in NFT stolen. The subhead, at least 13 Mutant Ape Yacht Club and 37 Bored Ape tokens were stolen, along with V-Friends. Is that Gary V's thing?
I can't remember.
V-Friends.
But World of Women,
World of
I have
Women.
not thought about. Isn't that the porn star who...
That feels right. Now I have to look this up. World of Women. No, it looks like boring Memphis art style. It wasn't the Lana Rhodes one, Stuck Stepsister or whatever. No.
But someone hacked NFT Trader and stole millions of dollars of quote unquote high value NFTs. It was a bad week for security on crypto because the ledger code got exploited.
I had forgotten about that. Yes.
Yeah, there was just like that's not really so much a scam as just like bad luck for everyone. Like it was a tough
real
week.
bad week.
Tough week for people that were not trying to be too much of a shithead with crypto. They took all my goddamn apes.
Yeah, 50 in total of various Yuga Lab stuff. Yeah, 13 mutant apes, 37 bored apes. The hack was followed, this again from Cointelegraph, was followed by rumors and misinformation on social media platforms. In addition, it's still unclear how many hackers exploited the security flaw. The security flaw was an attack targeted on old smart contracts, urging users to revoke delegations to two particular addresses. This says here, in a public message, one of the attackers attributed the original exploit to another user. I came here to pick up residual garbage, they wrote, requesting ransom payments to return the NFTs. So not only did you steal it, now you're going to do a ransom for it. The attacker then claimed to have limited technical skills and proposed victims to pay a 10% bounty in Ether in exchange. My technical skills are limited, he said. I can't get all the affected NFTs at once, and it's costing me a lot of energy and time. If you want the monkey NFT back, then you need to pay me a bounty, which is what I deserve. In another atypical development, one of the victims said the attacker returned a rare NFT along with 31 ETH, worth nearly 70 grand at the time of writing. Quote, and now the hacker just sent me 31 ETH. What in the world is going on? Is this real life? That is a quote from a user, R. Sanders DFS, on Twitter. GeoGaza replying, just revoke everything now and wait to see where the dust settles. Which is not a bad idea. Revoke everything now. Kind of feels like Divine's advice at the end of Pink Flamingos. Revoke everything now!
It's funny.
It has to be, because otherwise it's sad.
I mean, it's sad, but the NFTs are still a thing. I still get Facebook ads, not Facebook ads, but Twitter ads.
Twitter ads, yes, God.
Just like the dumbest shit. And it's like, obviously, it's someone just entering the same prompt over and over again and like an AI image generator. And just like, okay, here's 10,000 derivative Pepes.
Yeah.
Mint them for free. And you're like, fuck no.
Or an airdrop is coming for Dingle Coin.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I know. Why are you paying to advertise this? If it's such a good idea, why are you paying Elon to set this ad in front of me? Clearly this is something else.
Yeah.
The moment you have to advertise it, everything you say is suspect.
Indeed. You know what, though, what I'm really waiting for with these crypto scams?
What's that?
It really feels like we're going to have a bull market next year. And you got the Bitcoin and the Ethereum ETFs coming as soon as next month or February, I believe. And
I didn't realize
the interest rates are kind of still high. You might have this recession. Something just feels like Bitcoin's like what, 43K right now.
Thereabouts, yeah.
Ethereum is like 2,200, 2,300.
Yeah, 23, I think.
It just feels like, oh man, retail's gonna come back, and so is the drama.
Well, I mean, I'm sure some people just this week, Christmas time, they're gonna be flush with cash, and they're gonna be looking to blow it somehow. And I'm willing to bet that they're gonna go on SoFi. Actually, SoFi shut down their crypto. They're going to go on some retail investor.
You go on Coinbase
directly. Yeah, that's true.
I just really, I feel like when we first started doing this podcast was this moment where like a lot of our crypto scams had like narratives and because there was a lot more drama, and this is just more like, yeah, someone sat there and brute forced their way to figure out an exploit
on old smart contracts.
Yeah, and then they stole $30 million worth of X, Y, and Z, and they gave back 25. Which is, I'm not complaining, but like I've noticed this. I remember
there is a narrative that's kind of changing. You're right. Yeah.
I also feel that just as much as NFTs were like the big scam, big snake oil of the last bull run. I think the next bull run is going to be AI, the big fucking thing that's going to be impeccable damage to the psyche or the internet or to popular culture.
Yeah.
There's going to be a terrible Rolling Stones cover.
Oh no. Yeah, I can see it.
The AI that lets you clone Riley Reid.
See, you read my mind. I was like, yeah.
God, you ever see that? Do you ever see the Simpsons meme where it's
about Riley Reid? No, I can't say that.
Oh, it just fucking kills me. It's Nelson saying, I've made Riley Reid come 5 times, and I think it's whoever he's speaking with is like, I've made Riley Reid come 3 times. And Bart goes, wow, you guys sound like you might be getting bored of making Riley Reid come. And Nelson, the response is being like, no one who's ever made Riley Reid come would ever say that.
Yes. The woman likes to come. What's wrong with that?
It feels like a Connor O'Malley bit.
Oh, guys, I've made this new AI. It's Riley Reid. You can ask her about her lunch. What she thinks in the sky. Is God real? John Cena!
You know what? Yeah, actually, I can see it. I can see it in my mind's eye, too.
I guess you kind of did that with Jeremy Bott, but...
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Like, a lot of the endorphin.
Connor O'Malley is an insane human being.
We love him very much. He just put his short film, The Mask, online for free, by the way, if you haven't seen it yet.
I got about 15 minutes into it.
You were saying this, yeah.
It's just, man, this is cringe.
Yeah, it's rough.
Like, wow, he really went that far.
Yeah.
All right.
We talked about AI Riley Reid, just the last thing. We talked about AI Riley Reid, but then I realized earlier this year we actually did talk about an OnlyFans. Amaranth did the whole
horny AI.
Horny AI, yeah.
I forgot about that.
Because that's where we got the phrase maximum erotic blowjob from. Which is like, a blowjob's pretty erotic. I don't know how much more you can really add to that, but...
I don't know, maybe like it's on a really nice carpet.
Okay,
like a fuzzy carpet you can like dig your toes into real good.
Fist with your toes, like in Die Hard. Okay, I got it.
Fist with your toes.
Exactly. All right, so it is the holiday season. We are going to get into the holiday spirit, as it were. Talking about something that the old internet turned into a whole fucking thing. 2 guys from Colorado turned a joke thing that they did with like no budget and nothing into, was it now 40 seasons of television?
Yeah. Folks, what are we talking about?
We are talking about Trey Parker, Matt Stone, known as the creators of South Park, in the fictional town of South Park, Colorado. So it was 2 stop-motion films that they created a couple of years apart, one of which was Jesus versus Frosty, and the other was Jesus versus Santa. And they're referred together in one collection as The Spirit of Christmas. Have you seen these, by the way? Have you ever seen the originals?
It's been many years.
Let's go ahead and refresh our memory.
Oh my God! Frosty killed Kitty! Dude, I told you not to put that fucking hat on Frosty's fucking head, now didn't I? Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Rocket fucking Scientist. What are we supposed to do now? I don't know what we're supposed to... Wait, I bet he can help us.
So in that one, the basic germ of the idea is there for South Park. You have 4 foul-mouthed kids.
It's amazing how much DNA is in that little clip.
4 minutes.
4
it's
minutes,
not very
and
long.
there's so many little things, the fucking dumb sound effects.
Yep.
Oh, whoa, boys, tell me all about that voice. Like all
that
the
voice,
like,
yeah.
It's kind of fucking weird.
Yeah, because there's so much there that still to this day persists. The lesson at the end, that kind of subverts what you think it's going to say. Like the real thing about Christmas is Jesus. No, it's about presents, asshole. Says, I know where my parents hide him. Like you can't say fuck in front of Jesus. Those it was all there in the 90s. They had these ideas and they're fleshing them out as best they can. And they even used some of the old Rankin Bass music, if you noticed. Really anarchic. And so that was the first one. That's Frosty versus Jesus. They did a follow-up 3 years later.
I don't know what to do, dude. Who should we help?
I say we help Santa Claus.
You're just saying that because he brings you candy.
Hey, I don't need to take that kind of shit from a Jew.
You're such a fat fuck, Cartman, that when you walk down the street, people go, God!
damn it! That is a big fat fuck! Oh, yeah? Well, listen up. I'm not a Wait, just a second. Now, we've got to think here. Now, let's see. What would Brian Boitano do? Yeah, what would Brian Boitano do?
Did someone say my name?
Robert T. Pooner presents.
Yeah, this is where they start a Crankin' Blast production. Frosty versus Jesus versus Frosty. They had the character in the red coat and the blue hat that was identified in that one as Kenny.
Yeah.
But in this one, it looks like they have really, really closely formed because the animation's different and you've already got the visual identity. If you look at a screenshot from Jesus versus Santa, it's nearly indistinguishable from South Park Today because the character designs are nailed down. But that first one,
very rough.
And here, boy,
very
it's definitely
filmy.
Definitely much more smooth line. They even got Cartman's voice down. And Kyle being Jewish also is introduced. Even down to the Brian Boitano thing.
Yeah, again, just so many things. It's all the insults, the tenor of certain things, the tone is all.
Even in Jesus versus Frosty, maybe not the voices weren't quite there, but they definitely had the spirit of the thing. I mean, they had the Brian Boitano do, which they then kept and held on to for the movie they eventually made, and then they made that new whole song. Because of that, they just, they started it with, this according to Wikipedia, a Fox executive commissioned them to create a similar film as a video Christmas card that you could send to friends. 95 is when they started kind of shopping this around, and then eventually became South Park. Fox originally was going to be the group they pitched it to, but Fox basically said no. And so Comedy Central then helped them develop it into a series, and kind of as we all know, that kind of went from there. But whew, boy, the film reportedly had a budget of $750. So it did receive a Los Angeles Film Critics Association Award for Best Animation in 1996. Oh boy. Well, here we go. It was also included as a VHS recording in AVI format on the first 100,000 pressings of Tiger Woods 99 for the PlayStation. What the fuck?
I forgot about that.
Oh my god!
Yeah, ZZ Dummy Dat. What?
Yeah,
I remember reading about this in EGM.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I guess you would have to have the PlayStation CD in your computer to find the DAT file. Okay,
that's funny though.
Oh man, just why? I don't know. The game did then get recalled because it was unauthorized. Electronic Arts pulled that version. Oh, Avenging Conscience. I mentioned that when the first one started. And that was Parker Stone and two other students at the University of Colorado, named after a D.W. Griffith film of the same title, which both had seen and actively disliked. It was formed to produce The Spirit of Christmas and Cannibal the Musical. 3 more projects were produced, the sequel, Spirit of Christmas, Orgasmo, and The Book of Orgasmo. Later on in the second film, Avenging Conscience was renamed to Cranklin Brass Productions, a parody of Rankin Bass, and finally Braniff Airlines, which was actually a airline. Braniff was a real airline that did
apparently
exist.
Sucked.
And apparently it really did suck.
Yeah, they apparently bought the rights for something completely ridiculous.
Well, it's wild because Braniff Airlines did fly commercially from the 30s. So 1928 it says when they started, and apparently Braniff is still around as a retailer, hotelier, travel service, and some other brands that let's see here, and branding and licensing company administering the former airline's employee press program and other airline administrative duties. They ceased operations because of high fuel prices, credit card interest rates, and extreme competition for the large trunk of carriers and new airline startups created by the Airline Deregulation Act of 1978. I had heard of Braniff Airlines only briefly. as a cautionary tale, because like I think I've mentioned before, my mother is a travel agent. So she was there for the rise and fall of people like Trans World Airlines and the beginnings of Southwest when they were still just a little carrier. And it's like seeing that Braniff Airlines thing at the end of every South Park episode was also like, I've heard that name before.
Yeah, this is kind of an example of something that went viral before.
I was going to say,
before the internet.
Yeah.
Went viral in the old school way, as Douglas Rushkoff may imply, but also kept having kind of a second or third life as the early days of broadband or faster internet.
I was thinking about like Mystery Science Theater 3000 and how like those tapes getting passed around. They kept, at the end of every episode, they'd say, keep circulating the tapes. Well, it was that same kind of thing with these little shorts. They'd get passed around. Hey, have you seen this? And someone would send you a VHS, or you'd hear about it on a forum somewhere. Yeah, it was this kind of word of mouth thing. Like, this is really foul mouthed and really interesting. And people would just hear about it in this organic way, or organic-ish, I guess. But it was a very different internet. If you found that video, it took forever to download it. I remember this. Yeah.
I remember it taking like a whole entire night on dial-up. Like downloading off an FTP or BitTorrent, like
or Usenet or whatever.
Like 3-minute song that was like maybe 192 kbs.
If you were lucky. Were lucky. Most of it was 92 or in the 60s sometimes. But 64, I think, was the most common one that I got, and it was like, wow, this is like listening to it on the radio in a tunnel.
This Pearl Jam song sounds like "Meet Me in St. Louis."
Yeah. It's like I'm right there.
God, you're like, is that Pearl Jam or System of a Down? I can't fucking tell.
Entertainment Weekly did an oral history. I love the oral histories because for some reason, I don't know if you've noticed this, we've covered a couple of things where I reach back and I find an oral history. And I always feel like oral histories, especially when it comes to stuff like this, that's very pre-internet or like early internet, there's definitely a different sense that you get from the people who created the thing when you read about this stuff. So here's Trey Parker regarding Jesus versus Frosty. Quote, "It was just the fact that there were little kid voices and cute animation and they were screaming fuck. People hadn't really seen anything like that before. It was mostly college kids, so we knew our audience." And so they screened Cannibal the Musical in 93 for Fox exec Brian Graydon. Brian was like, "Show me everything you've done." And we were like, well, here's this cartoon we made. Brian loved it. And it said, can I send this as a Christmas card to everyone? So he sent it to a production house and copied it 100 times to VHS. We're just like, oh, that's cool. He sent it to his friends. They loved it so much. The next year, Brian asked them to make another one. Producer Brian Graydon responding, "There's no calculation that millions of people would see this and then we'd get a TV series. I wanted to do something cool for the Christmas card, and those guys are geniuses. We'd first seen their movie about cannibalism, the Alfred Packer movie. The way they used pauses and the rhythms of comedy were so observational and genius. That was the first thing we saw, and we just got to know them, and they would do various projects. We did a kids pilot, if you can believe it, for Fox's sister network. We started developing South Park based on those characters before the second video, Jesus versus Santa, was made." Yeah, Trey Parker, again, he gave us $2,000. We were so stoked. It was all single cell animation, so the damn thing took a week of no sleep to make 5 minutes worth. We talked about if it could ever be a show, and that's why at the very beginning, we put a sign that said South Park. It was just in the back of our minds. We didn't even put our names on it. And so that was directly what led to both the creation of... I mean, like, everything's there, like you said. All these seeds and germs of ideas and things that they would keep going with.
It's kind of fucking crazy because I remember seeing Jesus versus Santa Claus many years ago. Just the beat, the rhythm, just so many. Yeah, you can go watch. I mean, the most recent season is not that great, but like
the first couple. I mean, the first four.
The first,
at least.
I mean, they're really mean. I've gone back and rewatched certain parts of like the first. I want to say 6 seasons, but they're. That's the thing that like, it kind of struck me. Like, this is just it's funny. Mm-hmm. It's good, but like, this is a really mean, bitter show.
Yeah, it's definitely changed over the years to something a little bit less mean. It's still mean, but in a different way.
When they kind of got outside of some of the core concept, because some people say like the first 6 seasons are about the 4 main kids. Then it's more, there are seasons that are like oh, these are Stan's dad and Butters seasons, and how is it phrased? Like, it's about the kids, then it's about how stupid adults are, then it's about Stan's dad and Butters, and then it's about, I forget what the other concepts, but I was like, actually, yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
there's a whole litany of episodes or even seasons really that are just like, aren't adults stupid?
They kind of went against that because in the early days, I remember like they really poked fun at the police. Officer Barbrady was the dumbest man in town, and the parents were barely even in the show. They just were kind of like background characters. So the evolution did take on a Simpsons-like tenor where they're trying to expand it, but also like they kind of, in doing so, lost the core of the show, which is just these 4 kids being nasty little pig fuckers and just talking shit on each other.
Yeah, I mean, I got in trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Watching South, like it was like one of those things where it then became like if like my grandparents caught me watching Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah.
Well, Jesus, at least it's not South Park.
Yeah.
Or watching Simpsons, at least it's not South Park.
Right. One of the executives, the Fox guy, Graydon, is quoted in this same piece as saying, Comedy Central had the guy Herzog. They made a pilot, and we were a little disappointed, and we expressed that. Graydon then saying, we went to do a focus group. They were asked to rate the pilot, which is Cartman Gets an Anal Probe, which was the original first episode that aired. Rate the pilot on a scale of 1 to 10. There were 1s, 2s, and 3s everywhere. We made 3 people cry. They were saying that it's inappropriate for children to say those kinds of things. Matt and Trey asked how it went. I had been to many focus groups, but they had not. I had never seen a worse focus group, and I thought, well, this show isn't going to be the next year of my life. Yeah, Comedy Central decided against the focus group and went ahead and moved ahead with the series. Graydon, again, that takes more bravery than people will know until they've had these jobs. Herzog, anybody that tells you they knew it was going to be a hit, and the only people I would believe if they said that would be Matt and Trey, that's just bullshit. Nobody knows, right? What we did know is that it was really funny. We thought it was clever, and for a network that was still struggling to reach 50 million homes, we went, at the very least, this will get attention. Now, we talked about Mystery Science Theater and that. They were taking a risk on that at the same time. They had, right around that same time, they had just not only bought the rights to Mystery Science Theater, but they had also renewed it many, many times over.
Yeah.
Changing from the Comedy Channel to Comedy Central, right? And taking that show and a bunch of other really odd programming with it. Dave Attell's Insomniac. I mean, just some real interesting stuff.
So many weird shows.
Dr. Katz, Professional Therapist. Lauren Burchard, Bob's Burgers, would not have a career were it not for Comedy Central.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people wouldn't have a career.
Right.
I mean, some people may not even know that like the original fucking announcer for Comedy Central was
Penn Jillette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming up next, MST3K. Strip Mall.
I loved having tapes with Penn Jillette doing the intros on them because it's like no one would believe you otherwise. Alan King had a show on Comedy Central. They really were trying stuff. This was, cable was still kind of the Wild West. You had guys at like USA and all those places trying to...
Nikita?
Yeah. Or even Joe Bob Briggs, giving Joe Bob Briggs a cable show. That was a thing.
Yeah, the most divorced man in a cowboy hat. He really had like the first podcast.
He was, yeah. I still see clips from that on TikTok, and I'm like, yeah, this is very proto podcast. Debbie the Mail Lady.
He's like the one guy that's seen that clip from Maximum Overdrive. You know what I'm talking about.
This machine called me an asshole.
This machine called me an asshole. But I'm thinking more about how he talks about how Stephen King showed George Romero a cut of the scene where the steamroller crushes the baseball kid. Yeah. And apparently there's a cut of it where it's just so fucking gory that like apparently made George Romero pale. And I feel like that's my white whale.
I was going to say, yeah, I need this. I need this in my life. Yeesh. This is that time period where they're transitioning. So this is Comedy Central becoming Comedy Central from Comedy Channel. But I'm trying to think, okay, you had Dr. Katz. You had Alan King doing a show.
You had Lounge Lizards.
Lounge Lizards. Wow. They were doing some other...
Yeah, Upright Citizens Brigade.
That was a little bit later. I think that was maybe a year or two after. Because I want to say that was 97.
Right.
So it was a little bit.
I'm just thinking
that,
like
that
90s
era.
Comedy
Yeah,
Central.
sure.
Yeah. MST3K. You had Dr. Katz. You had SNL reruns.
Oh yeah. They didn't have a lot of animation, so South Park was kind of like, this is our animated show, and it's on after 9. It's on after 9 or 10 p.m.
Yeah, I feel like saying Dr. Katz as being animated is very generous.
I was going to say, because it was Jonathan Katz, again, proto-podcast, in character as this therapist. Boy, that launched the career of Laura Silverman, John Benjamin.
So many people.
Yeah, because that was about it for animation. It was that and South Park. Yeah, it says 97, it debuted to 1 million viewers. For a debut episode for a show at that time on a cable network after 10 p.m., that's pretty
I remember going to like that Christmas 97, like going to like Christmas shopping with my family at Union Station.
Oh yeah,
and walking past
back when they had the sock store.
Yeah, well there was that, I forget what it was called, but right by the food court, like almost exactly across from like the Taffy Pullers, there was a place that sold like the cool shit, and I remember them having like the fucking 80s B-boy Cartman plushie.
Oh,
and my
wow.
brother even had that. And
Wow.
like my brother, who I don't think ever had cable, will like come over to my dad's with like a VHS tape full of like South Parks to play for my dad, who I guess it was like showing a troglodyte, like a liar or something. I remember like my dad seeing the volcano episode.
Oh,
and just
wow.
being like, the fuck?
Yeah.
Like they can do this? Like it was like one of those things where like we were showing them a snuff film.
Right.
Imagine my brother this time as an adult. I'm like 11 or 12. I mean, I fucking had a South Park hat, and I thought it was like I get detention at school to wear my Kenny hat.
Yeah. The fact that these two things, again, grand total 9 minutes, spawned all of this was pretty fucking impressive. I mean, and like you said, all the germs of the ideas were there. Everything kind of was set in stone. Pretty crazy. And really it is because of the internet, because that was just the right time. They were just... Message boards would be posting about, there's a new episode of this weird show I've never seen. Or someone would say, hey, remember that thing that you found on this thing?
Yeah.
There's a show. These guys made a show, and it turned into a thing. It's kind of like Tracy Ullman birthing The Simpsons. It was very of its time.
I think a lot less bitterness.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah, Tracy Ullman was famously bitter about...
Oh, sure.
Because, like, who remembers... I mean, she is a footnote.
I know, which is unfortunate because she's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, strange time. Strange time to be on the internet.
Time when foul-mouthed children.
It really is that simple, isn't it? Just have kids
Red
say
Rocket.
fuck a bunch. Have kids jack a dog off. Yeah.
Yeah, just the first, I want to say 10 seasons, just...
Yeah.
When it started getting into like the weird libertarian both sides are wrong shit.
Yeah.
I think they listened to that criticism. Did you see the pandemic QAnon specials?
I have not. Like I said, I've been avoiding the show for a while. I feel like I should go back, but it's so hit or miss. It really is.
The pandemic specials are actually really fucking funny.
Is that's the one where they go
there's
grown-ups
one where
now.
there's one that's like where Randy is like, he sees a newscast and it's like, they don't think it came from a bat, they think it came from a pangolin, and Randy thinks about, oh shit, him and Mickey Mouse like doing coke in China and fucking a pangolin. Yeah, and
I've seen clips, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't think I've seen the whole
that
thing.
shit's actually kind of funny, and the one where they're growing up is really funny
because Cartman is now a rabbi. Yeah.
And I think his wife's name is Lentil. Or something like that. Like there's like some really great jokes in there, and like watching it with someone who grew up Jewish was really funny because he's like, no,
yeah,
like it felt
Yentl,
Yentl. There we go.
Barbra Streisand movie, yeah.
And well, the whole thing is that they're like the kind of riff is that out of the four boys, I mean, Kenny's dead,
right?
In this narrative, Stan and Kyle are just like miserable adults, but now Cartman's a rabbi and has like a lovely wife and like sweet kids.
Yeah, he's
and
fulfilled spiritually.
Yeah, he's fulfilled spiritually, and there's like a moment where like he's staying over at like Kyle's house or something. He's like fucking his wife, and apparently it's just giving his wife like calf cramping good sex and
blowing the back out.
Yeah, and it's it's so fucking funny.
Yeah,
I would say in the modern, it's weird that it's been going forever now. It's been going for 25 years, when they have like a new season, I'll like catch an episode, and like if the first couple episodes stick, I'll stick with it. But
Sure.
the last couple seasons have been they're funny. Like again, they still find ways to be, curious and weird,
Sure.
but it's also strange to see how many rhythmic things or aesthetic things and an episode made last year can be still found in something they did for $1,000 in the 90s.
And he says they actually made it for $750 and pocketed the rest.
Beautiful. Which,
hey, fuck them, right? Because they didn't know if they're going to work again. So yeah, why not?
Yeah, I mean, $250 goes pretty far.
It sure does. Well, speaking of blasts,
milk fountain, folks. You ready for the milk fountain?
It's shock.jpg.
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Shock.jpg.
Another blast from the past. 2008 brought us this one from the group Lol Shock. This courtesy of the Screamer Wiki. Milk fountain, Brian.
Boy, I can only imagine what this is about. It's either milk chug or something involve tittices.
Well, here we go. So it's two women with very obviously fake prosthetic penises. One giving the fake prosthetic penis a foot job, and the other one seated on what appears to be either a couch or a bed, can't really tell, with massive prosthetic boobs that are spraying milk everywhere. And it's a looping gif. And it will go on like this forever. One has the high knee socks.
I think you're neglecting here that the fake penis is also having fake cum.
Oh shit! I couldn't even see that. But yeah, you're right.
You're right. Listen, I'm a man for details here.
Just busting all over
everything. It's like being on a farm. Everything, there's shit spraying everywhere.
So, from the web archive capture of the site, what is the milk fountain? Milk fountain is an artistic examination of the female form and human sexuality. Well, you can say that again. The image depicts 8 Oh wait, this is from the original. This was actually the second version of Milk Fountain. The description does not match the image. In this one, it says 8 Japanese women shooting milky fluid onto a ninth woman who lies on the floor. So let me see if I can find the original, because this apparently was not. Oh, here it is. Here's the original version, it says. So apparently in 2021, it was replaced with the prosthetic dick and the prosthetic boobs version.
Oh, that is somehow a lot worse.
There appears to be a combination of milk and dookies shooting out from a number of butts onto a naked woman.
This is
penetrated.
This is me after eating Arby's.
I'm thinking Arby's.
We've got the meats.
Indeed, they do.
The ass meat. The milky ass meat.
And hey, a number of these people are caked up. I got to tell you, especially the lady on the right. I got to say, between the
$2.8 million goal.
Oh, yeah. He's referring to the web archives call for donations at the top.
We've got, listen, if you want to keep seeing, archaic old smut that's gross and disgusting, you got to pony up some money. We need 3 mil large.
It's true. And look, they've made 2.8 mil of that goal. So, hey, if you can do that, web archive, definitely. Which do you prefer, Brian? Do you prefer the 8 butts shooting milk, or do you prefer
the 8 butts shooting milk shit onto a woman in mid-coitus? Is interesting. It's something I can't say I've ever seen before. I'm not going to find that
at the Whitney on Thought Catalog or at the MoMA. No, you're not going to see that.
I mean, shit. Maybe that's what the cop was watching when he when he swerved his police SUV into a gay bar.
He's trying to avoid an invisible dog. Don't you keep your story straight? Yeah. What the hell?
What's that man doing to his ass?
Which do you prefer? Do you prefer the fake prosthetic boobs,
weird,
or
the shitting dick nipple stuff is funny?
Yeah.
I'm just
well, neither one is all that hot. Let me give you that.
But the shitting on the woman thing is really interesting because that means you had to get like at least half a dozen people in on this idea.
Yeah, I think it was like 8 people.
Right, but you got to think about like the photographer.
Oh,
and
in
other
addition,
things.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, someone had to go to the store.
Oh, somebody had to do milk enemas. Yeah,
Yeah, this was a group effort.
Yeah, for sure.
You got to think about what's not just happening.
Well, I mean, you
in
got
front of the lens.
You also got to think who created the giant prosthetic boobs, who made the giant prosthetic dongs, and
the coming fake dongs.
Not only that, but the giant prosthetic boobs are like spraying milk, so they're like filled with something.
They're going everywhere, man. There's nothing.
There are more performers in the original version. There's 10 of them, but here there's just the 2 ladies. But I think they're selling it a bit more. But again, this is also because this one is a GIF versus a still image, so kind of hard to tell.
Well, you know me as a photographer, I'm much more of a fan of the still image.
Sure,
it's evocative. Version 2 here, is not without its merits. I don't know why we're really quantifying this.
I'm just saying, which do you prefer? Because there were 2
versions.
versions.
The first one. I think
the first one.
I mean, again, like I'm just the still image is always going to be more evocative than the moving one.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I feel definitely unclean after watching both of those. So it's time for the breath mint.
It's time for your mom's favorite part of the show. It's time for the breath mint.
We're approaching our end of year. We'll have a whole end of year episode, obviously, but this one got me. I got Game Pass because we were talking about playing Remnant 2 together.
Mm-hmm.
Then I realized there's a ton of shit on Game Pass for PC that I hadn't played yet that was released this year. The one that really got me was, of all things, Bethesda and Tango Gameworks teaming up again, not for another Evil Within, but for Hi-Fi Rush, a rhythm action Devil May Cry meets Patapon kind of game where you're...
Yeah, I've watched some people play it before. It's really a neat game.
Short. That's a big benefit to me. It's a short game. Took all of 10 hours to beat. As far as on normal,
Yeah.
There's a few moments where you're really required to get it down to advance. But for the most part, it's kind of an option. Just get you higher scores, Devil May Cry style. And it's funny. It's well written. They chose a lot of really cool music for it. They wrote a lot of really cool music for it. They had the 1000 from the Nine Inch Nails album, The Slip, is on there. There's a Fiona Apple song, Fast As You Can's on there. That Elsinore song, whose name I can't remember, but
Ryan.
It's Radical or something like that.
Oh, I think about the guy from Elsinore. It's a guy named Ryan.
Oh, so one of the Elsinore songs, Radical, is a boss fight theme.
That feels so random.
It works because it's got this real bow bow, so it works with a rhythm game, like kind of feels right. The final battle is to A Perfect Drug by Nine Inch Nails, the quantifiably the best Nine Inch Nails song ever written, and it was written for a movie soundtrack. But Hi-Fi Rush, high quality game, really fun, silly. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's also just like, if you like action games, if you like rhythm games, it's peanut butter and chocolate. It's two good tastes it together. Gotta love it. Highly recommend it to anyone who has Game Pass. Pick it up. It's a short game, real fun. I don't think I had more fun playing a game this year, with the exception of a few. But we'll do that on another show. I'll dig deep into what was more fun. But boy,
I'm glad that you found some other stuff to play on there, because I'm not sure if I can stick with Remnant 2.
It is a bit of a slog in the early going. I will give you this. Yes.
What kind of got me was, like, the first level had some interesting concepts, and like the procedurally generated or the level design can be really interesting, but I feel like whatever algorithm they're working on led to me like dead ends and stuff that just like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah.
Like, this is a pain in the ass. Like, I wish it did not generate like this. So the first thing's like very like Bloodborne, like Elden Ring-ish, the first level.
Depends on how you roll. I just re-rolled a new challenger character, and it dropped me off on the drone. There's a planet with like drones flying around.
Oh, okay.
And so it is very random what your starting area is. So
the starting area for me was like the Fae
thing,
which is kind of Bloodborne-ish, Elden Ring-ish. And then like there's some cool events that happen. Like you try to like keep someone from burning a heretic. Some stuff that I thought that was weird orphan people. And then you've done the Fae level before. And like the whole trying to figure out like bits and pieces of the mythology, and I think there's some stuff there that's really creative. And then so I finished that level, and then it takes me to the next world, and I'm like, oh, this is just like Vextral space from Destiny 2.
Yeah,
I don't really, you know what? I'm good. Like,
yeah,
which
is unfortunate because that's where the story opens up a bit more, and so you find one of the characters you're looking for, and it starts to become a little bit more open-ended. But yeah, you're right, it does tread some familiar territory. That is,
it feels like a game that if I were 10 years younger, I would be like, sure, I'll waste some time on this, but I feel like, man, I got other it's okay. There's some cool stuff there. I think there's a lot of little bits of very sincere and very worthwhile creativity in what I played, but it's not showing me enough new.
That's true. It does take a while to get to that stuff. A lot of it really does have to do with, because it's procedurally generated, because every time you play it, it's not the same. There's some things where certain encounters will become really hard for no reason.
I've heard that.
Because each boss enemy has various traits that they can have. And some of them are interesting, like they create clones of you that you then can fight. But other ones are just ridiculous. Like I went through one section and you have to make this moral choice between saving this sacred deer or fighting the beast that's after it, or letting the beast eat part of the deer. And then you have like 3 or 4 different choices you can make. But every time the monster that was trying to kill the deer had all these stats that was like making it way tougher than it needed to be, and I was super underleveled, and I'm like, this is painful. That's what I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna do something else. I'll re-roll this part on a lower difficulty. I'm gonna try, you know what I mean, like I'll try something else, which is a freedom you get eventually in the game. You can just re-roll parts of the game.
I don't know, maybe this weekend we'll fuck around with it a little bit more.
If we can get on together, I can kind of show you some stuff.
So last weekend, got to see a movie that, one of those movies that I tell my girlfriend I've never seen it before. She's like, the fuck is wrong with you?
Oh, what's this one?
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Oh, wow.
Never seen it.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
By sheer cultural osmosis, I figured you'd seen it.
No, I mean, I was someone that saw City of Lost Children when I was in grade school. So, like, give me some credit of being like,
yeah, you were ahead of the curve in that regard. Yeah, for sure.
Like, yeah, I didn't need to watch that because I was already watching high cinema. I was watching Run Lola Run Lola Run in 7th grade.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I was seeking out the weird shit. I mean, I worked at a Blockbuster. I probably should have rented some of these movies.
I was going to say, yeah.
But anyways, I hadn't seen it before, and she wanted to watch a Christmas movie. I'm like, sure, fuck it.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of those things where I imagine if you watched it when it was a new movie, it would have been fucking mind-blowing and subversive and all that. But there's so many beats that have become tropes. So many jokes, so many concepts, I think, that have become kind of run into the ground.
Like, what's one that
the shitty in-laws and getting locked in the attic, which, it's like how I feel like about Jimi Hendrix.
Okay.
Like, I bet, like, I asked my Aunt Kelly, what was it like, hearing the Rolling Stones or Jimi Hendrix for the first time, and she'd be like, oh wow, this is fucking amazing. She'll go on. But the thing is, so many people have reiterated on what so many bands that did completely innovative things, that when you go back to the source material, that sometimes it doesn't hit like you hope it would.
Its time has passed. It was of its time.
But that being said, like, there's still parts of the movie that I found to really enjoy. Chevy Chase, when he like loses his shit in the air again, and you realize that the take that they used, he probably did not blink the entire time.
Oh yeah.
There's just little pieces like the shitty family. I mean, there's some good riffs in
Cousin
there.
Eddie is a fan favorite character. We love Cousin Eddie. Shatter's full, that guy.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's that line.
Yeah. Because you've heard it.
Oh, I've heard it. Every single cool uncle I've ever known has said that at some point.
Mm-hmm. I love this comes back to the South Park thing. I love the bits in Christmas Vacation where the kids just bust out some swears. One of Cousin Eddie's kids says to Clark, he's going to be shitting bricks. And, he admonishes him, hey, language. Oh, yeah, sorry, shitting bullets.
There's a few moments too, like when Clark is having this vision of the pool he's going to get with this bonus, which must have been pretty impressive bonus for whatever job that Clark. I still don't know what Clark does for a living after all these years.
Food additive.
Oh, that's right.
Like a scientist or something.
That's right. It's just some like science guy. Okay. Because that was so unimportant, I guess it never stuck in my brain. Like, what does he do for a living? Oh, whatever, it doesn't matter. But that's funny because one of my uncles was did the same job, and I think he still does. Yeah, they kidnap his boss.
Yeah,
which
and then somehow they all find like the meaning of Christmas,
almost in spite of themselves, which I think is to me the real meat of the movie is that last section. Yeah,
I had fun. Like, there's definitely parts where I really like, but it was kind of weird being like, oh, this is where this came from. This thing that I've seen in so many different forms since a child.
Anyway, yeah, you're right. The DNA is everywhere.
Yeah. Just like in a sea hotel room.
Yeah. Yeah, don't bring your black light to Christmas vacation. So I saw a Christmas movie, well, a Christmas-ish movie this past week. We went and did a movie trivia at the Marcus Theater out, it used to be a Wareberg's, Ronnie's Theaters out there in South City. And we did a movie trivia, and one of the prizes for winning movie trivia was movie passes. And so we've been kind of hemming and hawing, what are we going to go see? What are we going to go see? And then we happened upon, the perfect timing just kind of fell in our laps, and we went to see Wonka, the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory prequel musical starring Timothée Chalamet. Directed by the guy who did Paddington and Paddington 2.
That sounds exhausting.
It sounds exhausting. On paper, I can see how someone would be like, oh, fuck this movie. But I had such a good time. Good musical. The musical numbers were great. It was really funny, like genuinely funny, in a way that like few musicals are. Boy, the supporting cast was great. Keegan-Michael Kay he plays the bumbling police inspector with a sweet tooth who is then paid off by this chocolate conglomerate in boxes of candy to keep Wonka out of business. And so throughout the course of the film, he goes from looking like his usual self to wearing this enormous fat suit. And it's just this like running joke that every time you see him, he's fatter. A rogues gallery of really underrated British actors playing these supporting roles. I mean, nobody else that I really recognized. Everyone's fucking funny in it. Everyone gets a great song. It's fun. It's fun in the way that like Paddington was fun. It's just a fun movie. It's whimsy. Whimsy was the name of the game, and I think it definitely hits that high note. Hugh Grant was the one I was thinking of. Hugh Grant,
who apparently hated doing the movie.
Which is a damn shame because he is a highlight of the film.
I think the quote I read was, "I have a lot of kids."
Which makes sense. It makes sense. Hey, you got a couple bucks? Sure, I'll do your movie. But he plays the lone Oompa Loompa in the film, which is like, okay. They have him in the exact get up from the 70s, from the Gene Wilder movie. They make a few oblique references to the Gene Wilder flick, in particular that at the end there's a version of Pure Imagination with the lyrics slightly changed. And then as he's imagining what the future of Wonka chocolates is going to be, you kind of see the 70s set recreated around him. But that and the character of Slugworth, that's pretty much it. It's not a Ghostbusters Afterlife situation where every 2 seconds it's like, hey, do you remember this? Hey, do you remember this? And there's no joke. It's just, hey, do you remember this? That was what Ghostbusters Afterlife does. This one goes, hey, there's this whole movie going on, and also if you remember the 70s thing, great, cool. All right, but also there's, it's a very different kind of vibe.
So it's not in continuity with the Johnny Depp one?
No, absolutely has nothing to do with that, thank God. Because as much as like Tim Burton, I felt like the Johnny Depp one was kind of pointless. With the exception of Christopher Lee as the dentist father. That is pretty much the only...
Well, anything that has Christopher Lee in it.
Yeah. But yeah, Wonka, great movie. I enjoyed it.
I like candy because my father was a fascist.
But he's also doing a weird Michael Jackson thing, which I didn't find really tasteful at the time.
I mean, both do terrible things to children.
Fair enough, but it's just it felt wrong. It felt
if Willy Wonka murdered his wife, wouldn't it make sense that the Johnny Depp version, he would be after O.J. Simpson?
That Willy Wonka's out on the golf course going,
I'm not black, I'm Wonka.
If the gobstopper doesn't fit, you must acquit. Wait, that was his lawyer. But oh jeez. Anyway, I enjoyed despite Timothée Chalamet. I like Timothée Chalamet in small doses. I liked him in Dune. I liked him in
Dune.
Yes, I liked him in Dune and Call Me by Your Name. Those are the only two things I've seen him in that I really enjoyed the films. And most of those times, it was in spite of him. But this, he gave his whole ass. He put his whole ass out in that movie. He sings and dances, and it's a whole big thing. And he has some of those Gene Wilder mannerisms, but it's not as overt. He has that boyish charm, which works with the character because he's supposed to be young and kind of idealistic. And I don't know. I really enjoyed it. Maybe wait, for you in particular, the film Curmudgeon, maybe wait for it to come to Max or whatever for you. But for those of you who enjoy a bit of whimsy, Paul King is the king of whimsy. Directed Paddington 1 and 2.
Speaking of whimsy.
Yes, whimsy.
Last night, the lady and I watched a little art house film called X.
Oh, boy. What did you think of X?
Have you seen it?
I have. I've seen X and the prequel.
I thought it was a really great horror film that would have been a lot better if it wasn't so aware of itself.
That is a weakness of the film, absolutely.
There's so much I like about it. So many, the performances are great. The
Mia
characterizations
Goth.
are so fun. And then seems to really fail to do too much with it. Once the deaths start, you're like, oh, this isn't that much fun. Because not a lot of the deaths are very satisfying or interesting.
It wants to be Texas Chainsaw really bad, but it doesn't have the gumption to follow through, I think.
Yeah.
And I think that is a major weakness of the movie, and I think that's what makes Pearl a better film in like many, many ways. I do got to give it up for Mia Goth for playing two roles in the same movie. That's always a fun one. And I do got to give it up for Jenny Ortega, who is the sound girl who wants to do a porno scene. I'm sorry to say, guys, this isn't for all you horny guys out there. This is unfortunately another movie where you're going to see Mia Goth's tits, but you're not going to see the tits of the person you really want to see. Oh.
I was like, oh god, oh cool, another Mia Goth. Oh wow, Mia Goth, your tits are out. Wow, cool. I haven't seen that before. Gosh, I feel like it's like
I haven't seen Infinity Pool.
Yeah, it's like gosh, it's like a fucking other Jurassic Park movie. Cool, I ain't seen this before. Wow, the dinosaurs got loose. Wow, pandemonium. Wow, this is just real. Wow, won't man ever understand the folly of his ways?
I love that you can have that reaction about Mia Goth doing nudity. That to me is amusing. Anyway,
I don't know, man. It's just
an attractive young woman is all I'm saying.
Well, it's like roadkill. Well, I mean, every once in a while you see an armadillo.
Sure.
But I don't even know where I'm going with that. But I
don't either, but I was kind of curious.
I would say like the first third and the last third are good, and like the middle part,
sags in the middle.
Once the killing starts, it just it's still fun.
Mm-hmm. The first death with the
JR,
the kind of incel sound guy, who's just like trying to start a van, and then suddenly Pearl pops up. Like, okay. We've entered a different film now.
I would say like the last bit of it's really great.
Yes.
Without trying to spoil too much, the last bit of it's really fucking fun. It's a movie worth watching. It has a lot of great vibes to it. Like I feel like they killed off some characters way too quick. Like it's just like, oh boom, you're dead.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like what would have been more satisfying or more tantalizing is to like really fucking drag some of that shit out, because I think sometimes like that's what makes a great horror film. Like it doesn't, like if maybe these deaths took a little bit more time or a little bit more gruesome, I think.
Yeah, I mean there was a few deaths in Barbarian that I thought like, well, we could have stretched that one out a bit, couldn't we?
Yeah, we could tease a little bit more out of that. I mean, Barbarian's a fucking great movie, but
it's the same thing though. It's that same like. it could have been so much better if we'd done just a little bit more of this or that. There's just little bits here and there. I get what you're saying, especially with some of these characters where like, I was just getting to know them and I kind of want to see how they'd react to being
like maimed first.
Yeah.
Before then murdered.
Exactly.
And the only person that really goes through that is Jenny Ortega's character. And
boy, she sells it though.
Oh, she's great. She's great in her underwear that says Sunday on it.
Yeah.
And, what a great.
I forgot about that detail.
I tried not to lose my shit. I'm like, this is so weird.
But it works, I think.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
There's a lot to like about it. It's most certainly worth watching. I wish some things were better, but it's still fun.
What did you think of the music? Because I was intrigued by like how it's not necessarily period accurate, but it feels right.
Well, wasn't it Chelsea Wolfe or something?
Yes, that's what I was. That's why I asked.
It's fun. Like it was good. I honestly didn't really pay attention to the soundtrack that much. It didn't really stick out to me, which in a horror film is either a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah,
'cause I think sometimes if the music adds to the tension or the mood, but it doesn't stick out. Like, I mean, it depends on intention too.
True. Yeah, I was thinking of Suspiria and Goblin in particular because I just went back and listened to the Goblin or to Goblin doing the Suspiria soundtrack this week, and I was like, I can see every frame of this movie in my mind.
That's fucking crazy. But yeah, it was cool. I'm glad we watched it.
Put it on your calendar to watch Pearl because boy, oh boy, they couldn't be more different. They couldn't be any more different. Mia Goth again in the lead there. She gives probably one of her best performances in something you'd consider like a throwaway movie. This is a prequel to a movie that was kind of okay, right?
Yeah.
But no, Pearl, even without X to refer to it, stands on its own. It takes place on the same farm, but obviously like 50 years earlier. What a flick. Pearl wants to be a star, but her German mother says no, and so that creates all this other conflict. And she sneaks out to the movies. she gets this idea that she's going to be a star. Not to spoil anything, there is one scene at the end where, in most movies, you would cut to a still frame of someone, right, and then credits go by. In this one, they just linger on Mia Goth's face in real time as the credits roll, as she's got this painful looking smile on. And those credits are long. It just goes on for a very long time. I had to check and like, is she moving? Yes. Oh God. So they literally sat there.
I think when we were watching it, it was either like right before or very early, and my girlfriend said something to me like, she's just so upsetting, like, or uncomfortable. And like everything she's in is, she's like she's,
and they lean into it.
It's like weird because she's not like strikingly beautiful, but she's like also plain. She's kind of pretty, but she's also kind of plain faced.
Yeah,
like she sticks out, but she doesn't. Like she's just got this this.
She got the Lauren Ambrose face.
There's something very ambiguous about her, like that, and I think that's part of like what makes her haunting is that
uncanny.
Yeah. I think she's gonna have a really great career in film.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, just the project she's done the past 2-3 years is like,
I mean, Infinity Pool was great.
X Pearl Infinity Pool,
Superiza, or what was it called?
I can't remember the name.
Remake. Yeah, I don't know. That's not a person I want to share an elevator with.
No, I also did not know this, but Mia Goth is British. So, Oh, that was the one I was trying to think of.
Cure for Wellness.
Cure for Wellness. That was a Gore Verbinski movie.
And Nymphomania.
The Lars von Trier two-film thing. So the last thing I have is just a fun one. It doesn't really bear a lot of repeating because you and I already agree on this. What We Do in the Shadows, Season 5. Boy, oh boy, what a firecracker
I have
of a season.
I feel like I'm a couple seasons behind.
Did you see the one where Nadia starts the vampire nightclub?
Is that the one where it's a vampire nightclub? Mm. Is that also the one where there's like the fitness vampire? Is that or is it at least at the same season?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's like the last season I watched.
Well, then you're pretty close to caught up because it's 8-10 episodes. You'll be caught up in no time. They're really focusing on Nadja's character in this season, which is great because I felt like they focused on Laszlo and Colin in the past one, and they're kind of giving everyone a little bit of time to shine. You got a few Guillermo-specific episodes, which I love Guillermo, or Gizmo, as Nandor calls him. There's just this great bit in one of the first episodes where they go to the mall, which they apparently have never been to. And however long they lived in Staten Island, they've never been to the mall. It's just one scene. If you know Matt Berry and you know Laszlo, the character, you know that he's going to walk through a mall and just start talking shit. And of course, that's the baby village. Smart idea, putting them all in one place. You know, the bikini warehouse, probably a front for a brothel. And all of that's contained in 60 seconds. So it's still fun. Kristen Schall's really annoying, but she's in it. But her annoyingness is a plot point, which is kind of interesting. But you got a lot of fun. There's a body swap episode, which everyone loves. Just some real fun stuff. Again, short seasons, they're real fun. If you've never seen What We Do in the Shadows before, it's a mockumentary about vampires living in Staten Island, which is based on a film, which is about vampires living in, I don't know, New Zealand, I believe. But it's a hoot. It's a hoot and a
The
holler.
original film is, I think it is New Zealand. Yeah, it's really weird.
I want to say that because it's Taika Waititi, so yeah, that makes sense.
Gosh, when he was fresh and new.
Yeah, before he got that Marvel money.
Speaking of things, apparently he just did that for money.
I'm not surprised at all.
And
it's a very mercenary move. I mean, sure, man, go for it, do it.
I mean, he made probably what was like the last legitimately good Marvel movie.
So
good on him.
Yeah,
I actually thought he made the other Thor movie, and I was like, man, he couldn't strike lightning twice.
Yeah, entirely possible. I'm sure he was just tired because I mean, he's executive producing What We Do in the Shadows, executive producing Reservation Dogs. He's probably got a few other things in the works, and so this was like, hey, you're gonna do another
no wonder
Thor
why
movie?
He doesn't have time to be funny.
Right. It's like, hey, you want to do another Thor movie? Like, sure, put it on the pile, I guess.
Yeah. It's a pile of money.
Yeah, I got other things going on, but sure, I'll throw a camera at Chris Hemsworth for a couple hours. Why not?
Folks, this is the part of the show where we're going to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Because we got shit to do. It
long
doesn't involve
tooth.
you.
Yep.
Yeah, we really fucking, we rattled the bird cage long and hard tonight, folks.
Chewed on that bone.
Chewed on that bone. Jason, where can they find you?
Hey, you can find me on various places on the internet, social medias and whatnots as Videocrime, VIDEOCRIME. If you see a video crime on the internet, chances are that's me, with the exception of Instagram and TikTok. That's Laser Goose CEO, laser with an S, because I am not a moron. You can also find me on Substack, golfwolfmagazine.substack.com. And that's Midnight Pals. Just did our season finale. Midnight Pals just aired the other day. That was episode 8. I play Stephen King on Midnight Pals, so that is midnightpals.simplecast.com. And catch yourself up on 8 episodes of very, very funny stuff. Our former guest, Bitter Corella, is the main creator there, but of course, Robin Johnson, Sister Inica, Becca D'Souza. I'm leaving people out because I'm really tired, but there's a great cast of characters. Everyone's really funny. I had a great time doing it. Our season's over. We're going to do a new season next year, but right now, perfect time to catch up on that. I play a fictionalized version of Stephen King. You've got fictionalized versions of Dean Koontz, Clive Barker, Edgar Allan Poe. The season finale, by the way, is Stephen King and the rock bottom remainders show up at J.K. Rowling's Scottish castle and wreck the place.
That's pretty good. I'm into that.
It's great. We've got a woman playing Patricia Highsmith. Just some real class acts. A guy doing Neil Gaiman. It's fun. The person playing Dean Koontz, though, is my favorite. They play Dean Koontz like he's a 10-year-old boy, and Stephen King being his kind of father figure. So I get to say Diener. I get to call him all these little Dean nicknames. But yeah, you can check me out there.
I'm into that.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
midnightpals.simplecast.com, or you can just go midnightpals.com. That's where all that stuff is. Brian, where can they find you?
Oh, well, folks want to send me a death threat or the Daniel Pearl video, you can find me on various social media platforms on the internet. I shot Guy Debord. That's ISHOTGUYDBORD. That's on Threads, Twitter.
Threads, really?
Yeah, Threads.
I
see more people. I see more and more people using Threads now. It's weird, but mostly it's just like people being bitter and like look at me. I'm so creative, which is, I think, is behavior that would get you run out on a rail on Twitter.
Yeah, try that on a forum.
Yeah, I feel like Threads is where people can really do some really unhinged navel gazing.
Some MySpace era shit.
Yeah. Anyways,
Sorry.
but yeah, so Threads, Blue Sky. If you want to check out my photography portfolio, it's assholemusicphotographer.com. You want to check out some photos with words, it's amusicphotographer.com. If you want to check out the last good and the only media website in St. Louis, it's the Arts STL. Good movie reviews, like I mentioned last time. It's a little slow right now. It's a slow time of year for this sort of stuff. Hopefully we'll have some things in the future.
Do you have anything coming up for the Arts STL?
Zed's dead.
Okay.
Hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll get that covered.
Fucking A.
Tomorrow, Dee and I are celebrating our 1 year anniversary, which is crazy to think about.
Congratulations.
We're just crazy. We're just crazy mixed
Crazy
up kids.
I know.
So we're gonna go check out the hip hop thing at the art museum. Anyways,
yes, you can find the show 48minutesdogsbarking.com. Shoot us an email, Jason at 48minutesdogsbarking.com, Brian with a Y at 48minutesofdogsbarking.com. Give us a call, 314-246-9766. That's 314-AHOY POO. And you can also support the show, patreon.com/48minutesofdogs. Well, this is the part of the show where we tell you namaste and good luck.
eat the knife.
Eat the knife.